All right. Authentic answers. Euros 2024. Spain 2, England 1. First things first. Congratulations to Spain for winning their fourth European Championship. I believe that is a record. And yeah, another final for England, another loss. Mixed emotions. Definitely feel it's a good thing to get to a final, but once you get there, you kind of do want to win. But yeah, there's a few things I think definitely could have improved, could have gone better. We'll get into that in a second. First of all, the opening goal, very, very easy for Spain, I would say. First half was very cagey. I don't think anyone really wanted to make a mistake. But then the second half, no Rodri, their captain, well, not their captain, but their main man doesn't come out. You're thinking, okay, it's definitely going to be the time for England to try and capitalise off this. Never really worked. Spain scored within the first 2 minutes, I believe. The birthday boys, obviously Nico Williams' birthday was on Friday, Yamal was on Saturday, and one has set up the other for a goal on a Sunday. Perfect script for them. Probably Luke Shaw just got caught out of position maybe. The defenders couldn't really do much. I think it was happened too quick, but that's what happens in football sometimes. But England never gave up. Couple substitutes, which I will touch on a bit after. Cole Palmer brings England back to 1-1. And we're thinking, it's game on. Could this be a repeat of the semi-finals? And it was, but just the opposite way. And somebody that has had a lot of criticism over the season at Chelsea, Cucurella, he actually had a decent tournament. I think his price tag has definitely gone back up. Whipped in a left foot ball, and Morata's substitute literally put it in the back of the net. I think Pickford, I don't know why he was anticipating it to go the other way, but either way, the goal's a goal. And when you've only got like 5 minutes left, I think it's clear to see everybody knew what was going to happen. But yeah, England tried. When you look at the teams that Spain have beaten over the competition, they beat the holders, Italy. They've beat Croatia. Obviously not up there as much anymore, but still regarded as a good team. I think some people didn't think Spain was going to get out of the group. Beat Germany, obviously beat France, and now they've beaten England, so you can't say they haven't deserved it. I think Yamal won best young player, which again I think deserved. Rodri got player of the tournament, so big up to those guys. And I do believe that Kane might have shared the golden boot. But speaking of Kane, I think this is definitely going to be one of Southgate's reasons for why he probably hasn't done as well as he does. I heard Ian Wright also say it's not that England don't have the players, and it's not because if you was to start before the tournament, you would probably only say on paper, Rodri and Laporte would be the only players that would probably get into that England team on paper. England have more than enough talent in that team for them to be playing better football, and that is something that I believe comes down to Gareth. If England had a Spanish manager, a Pep, somebody that probably installed a bit more into the team, I think England would have done a lot better, because there's more than enough players to play the way that we as fans want to see England play. Harry Kane, brilliant season at Bayern Munich, but for whatever reason, it just hasn't worked for him this tournament. Maybe he's tired, maybe he's got an injury, but Southgate's stubbornness to continually stick with him, knowing that he kept dropping deep, he wasn't running around, he wasn't stretching the defences. There was a lot of times where if he didn't need to play, knowing that you had someone like Ollie Watkins and Ivan Toney ready to kick ball. I think that will be definitely one of the downfalls of Gareth Southgate, his stubbornness. I think Harry Kane registered 3 goals, 2 penalties, was it? Yeah, just overall, just not good enough. He did come off in the 60th minute, but England needs to be more than just having impact subs. Sometimes it's good just to win the game with the players that you actually start with. Again, a lot of people might not really understand this, but I think Bukayo Saka, yes, he did score a good goal in the tournament, but hasn't really done much. I don't think the tournament has really been something that any real English player can really say they've done well with. Especially in the Spain game, I'm looking at Saka and I'm thinking, Cucurella, take him on. Every time you have a one-on-one with him, take him on. Show him down the side. If you can, get him on a yellow card so you know he'll be panicky for the whole game. And he just never did it. It was very, very rare when you saw Bukayo Saka go past Cucurella. And that, again, I feel was maybe a tactical problem, or maybe Saka maybe has been holding an injury, or maybe he's tired, but he definitely should have done a lot better on that right-hand side. Again, I'm going to get backlash for this, but Phil Foden is also a major factor in why England have not done well in this tournament. Yes, it's to a final, but when you look at the way he's played, Southgate has tried to squeeze him in no matter what he does, and it's jeopardised the whole team. He's had a brilliant season at Man City, Player of the Year, but when it comes to England, he's non-existent. And out of the big 4, Saka, Kane, Bellingham, and Foden hasn't registered assists, he hasn't registered a goal. Bearing in mind, he's been taking corners, he's been taking free kicks, and he hasn't registered anything. And I know football is not just about stats. Sometimes you actually have to watch the game, and when you watch the game, you realise, yes, he's good on the half turn, he has the odd glimpses, but overall, it's just not enough. When you talk about maybe the best player in the Prem, one of the best English generational talents, it's just not good enough, and it hasn't worked. Him and Bellingham has not worked as that number 10. I think they sacrificed Bellingham. Bellingham was out there on the left. Granted, he's probably a lot more athletic than Phil Foden, but that's not his position, and he was asked and forced to do that, which also isolated Luke Shaw on the left-hand side, somebody that's just come back from injury, playing his first full game in a final, had to basically occupy that left-hand side all by himself because there was no left winger. There was no one for him to actually do overlaps with or a little 1-2. And that's because Southgate wanted so much for Phil Foden to play in this game. When you look at the substitutes, someone like Cole Palmer, I'm pretty sure he's registered 1 goal, 2 assists. You see the difference with him when he comes on for set pieces. I'm not saying he should have started. I do believe that a left winger should have started and been able to stretch out the pitch a lot more. Especially someone like Carvajal at Spain. Again, get him on a yellow card. He's a hothead. You get him sent off. But we didn't have anyone to do that. Going forward, hopefully someone like a Graham Potter can come through into that England team and maybe get them playing football the way that we know that they can play football. Get the balance right. That's another thing I think Gareth was his downfall. He didn't get the balance right. Trippier at left back for all of those times, it didn't work. Luke Shaw actually did pretty well, to be fair. Yamal, all the talk was about him, and yes, he did register a shot on target, got an assist, but it was quite a quiet game. It wasn't a time where he actually ran past him or smoked him or anything like that. So, Kobbie Mainoo, I think maybe the game got away from him after a while, but I also think that comes to the fact that As I said, Jude Bellingham was pulled out of position too many times, and Phil Foden doesn't do enough in that space for him to really allow the midfielders to do what they need to do. But I do think the decision to take him off was correct. Has had a good tournament. I think definitely will be one for England's future. Declan Rice, again, I think a mixed tournament. It's definitely cemented that he's not on Rodri's level. Hasn't done enough. I would have wanted him to do more, but what can you do? I think athletically, Declan Rice has got the ability, but technically, I think there's a lot there to work on. Just always keeping his head up, scanning before he gets the pass. Those type of things will definitely improve Declan Rice's game. Who else was there? Oh yeah, just going back to Cole Palmer. When you see the season or understand the season that he's left his boyhood club, Man City, to go and search for football. First team football, he wanted minutes. And now it's got him to the stage where he was second behind Haaland in top goal scorer, second in assists, and he's now also scored in a European Cup final. Like, that's all because he had the bravery to go and chase a new journey, and he didn't want to be comfortable. So salute to Cole Palmer for doing that. Carl Walker, hopefully this is his last tournament. I do think probably the final was maybe one of his best games. But it's the final third where it's the delivery. The last bit where what you want him to do, he just hasn't got it in his locker. He's got the pace, he's got the strength, he's very good at recovery. But when it comes to crossing, I just think that's where he lacks. And you know what? It's very interesting because I think once Reece James comes back, I think that position will be perfect for Reece James because he's kind of got the balance over Trent and Walker where he's got the pace, but he's also got the delivery. So it'll be very interesting to see where Reece James fits back into this England team because I think overall, out of all of them, he probably is the right back that will be number one. Pickford, sometimes he does the long ball thing, and I think in his mind he must know if I'm playing long balls to someone like Phil Foden, you can't expect Phil Foden to be winning headers. It just doesn't make sense. Sometimes it's positioning for goals. Sometimes I just feel like he's just a bit erratic, and that's something that he definitely needs to work on. John Stones, yeah, done all right. I think he was very frustrated with the game. I think he kind of knew that he wasn't up to the levels that he's used to. But that's how football goes sometimes. And Gahey, he done all right. I think for his first tournament, definitely can say that he can leave with his head held high. But I think there was a few times where it's like, yeah, you should have probably read the game a bit better and got to that. But again, it's football. It happens. Who else do we have? Hopefully, again, Trippier. Last time we ever see him in an England shirt. Very versatile, but just not good enough. And have I missed anyone? I think that's everyone. Oh, Jude Bellingham. Again, works hard. I did feel sorry for him because he did have to kind of go to the left-hand side, which I don't think he wanted to. But yeah, it wasn't the Jude that we see for Real Madrid. Again, very athletic, but technically I think there's still a lot to work on. It would have been nice to see him fully in his normal role, or even where maybe Kobbie Mainoo was playing and then someone else could have gone into the left. But him on the left wing, I felt was very unfair for him. Someone to have a season that he's had, and he's had to basically forfeit that for Phil Foden because Phil Foden apparently needed to be in the team. It didn't work. Ollie Watkins, super sub, didn't work this time. Did not work. Yeah, it was one of those games where he wasn't really getting the delivery. I think for definitely a good 10 minutes, I don't even think he touched the ball, to be honest. But yeah, what was your thoughts? Did England do enough to get to lift the trophy? Could Gareth maybe have tweaked a few things? What does this leave for Gareth? What does it leave for some of the players? Will they go? Will Kane go? And again, I know it's a thing where a lot of people talk about Saka, but is it now obvious that maybe that right wing is not, it's not guaranteed to be him. Like Cole Palmer definitely can play there. So yeah, it'll be interesting. Very interesting World Cup. See what happens. But yeah, Spain 2, England 1, and yeah, the Spanish have claimed back their title as one of the best nations in football, and they were very much underdogs, but they did it in the end. Let me know your thoughts, authentic answers. Peace.